40th year?
Yes.
How's that possible?
Well, I love children, Nate,
Yeah.
and I think that's the driving force, of course, for teachers.
Welcome to You Belong, the podcast where stories come to life, hosted by Pastor Nate. In each episode, we'll learn that every name has a story, and every story matters to God. So let's journey together and discover the stories that unite us all. This is You Belong.
Well, I'm so glad to have my friend Laurie with me on the podcast today. So why don't you tell me where you came from and where did you go?
I'm from Heartland, a small town north of Fredericton, and we have a population of 999 some days.
Oh my gosh.
It's where the Heartland longest covered bridge is.
Yeah, so we walked that multiple times. I went to Bible school up in Heartland Way,
Yes,
MBBI.
yes. And so I grew up there, and then I went off to university in Fredericton at UMB, and I studied education to be a teacher.
Oh, what kind of teacher?
First, I had studied in phys ed, so I absolutely love sports. So I thought that would be a great opportunity to go and become a teacher in that field. And then I added special education to that degree.
Okay.
And from there, I went out west and taught in the far north of Alberta.
Oh, so what city would that have been, far north Alberta?
It's a town called Fort Vermilion.
Fort Vermilion. Okay, all right.
yeah.
How long were you out there for?
I was there for 4 years.
Okay,
And then I moved back and worked in St. Stephen,
okay.
New Brunswick, and I was a coordinator there for 3 years and helped a lot of children in assessment and setting up programs for the district.
Very cool. So how long have you been doing that for then? Like working in the school system?
So I'm entering my 40th year.
40th year?
Yes.
My goodness. How's that possible?
Well, I love children, Nate,
Yeah.
and I think that's the driving force, of course, for teachers if they love kids to stay in it. And I still have that energy and passion to help children. So actually, I've started work this week, and I've done a lot of work in the special education area.
That's so
my passion, to help children who just need a little more time and need different ways to learn. And I think that we all learn in different ways, and we just have to respect that with children and find out the best way to help them learn.
Very good. So what do you find yourself doing when you're not teaching? Like I know that I've got a mother-in-law as a teacher, a sister-in-law as a teacher. Like that's all consuming at times. Like do you
Yes.
have time to do other things?
Well, I have some hobbies for sure, and I love nature. So walking on trails, or just even making a trail, doing a lot of walking outside. I love to draw.
Oh, I did not know that.
I love to draw.
Like what kind of style of drawing would you do?
Pencil sketching.
Pencil sketching.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Just sometimes it's just some freehand things, and then other times it's just copying a picture that I like. So then I might put that on a little card for someone, or just draw with children. It's a great way to get kids to
Because
settle
you were always
down.
like I know with my son Finnegan, you've done a little cartoon and stuff for him. Like that's really good. So that's actually something you enjoy doing. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool. Mine don't ever look like that. So it's obviously you have some time.
And I love sports.
Okay.
So anytime that I could play volleyball or basketball, those were my main sports. But
Okay.
played a lot of softball and baseball and badminton. So
And badminton.
yeah.
I had a hard time playing badminton. For whatever reason, I had a hard time hitting that birdie. I didn't know what was going on with that. But so that's good. So do you have any kids at all?
I do. I have 2 adult children. I would call them adult children. So my son is 30 and my daughter is 27. And they both have been heavily involved in sports as well. Hockey, baseball are the 2 primary ones.
Okay.
So, and my daughter plays hockey in Europe. Right now she's not,
Okay.
but she had 4 years as a professional hockey player
Oh my
in
goodness.
Stockholm and Budapest.
How did that go down? Like, how does that happen? Because I met someone the other day at church who played, like, European Scout came down for soccer, and she played in, like, Sweden for a summer. So, like, how does that
Yeah.
happen to go play Europe, like, in hockey in
Well,
Europe?
for women, I mean, it's different for the NHL level for the men, although there is a PWHL now. But after university, for playing at St. FX for 5 years, she got recruited. And there's a hockey pool, and they watch videos, and so she got recruited from Stockholm first.
Okay.
And it's a tough league, a good league, and then she moved on to Budapest, and she was there for 3 years. And my son is an awesome hockey player as well, and he played at the provincial level and made the Canada Winter Games team. So
straight
they're
up,
both
okay.
really good athletes.
Wow.
And my son and I actually train for half marathons together. So it's a dream for me
Wow.
to have him train with me. I thought when I was younger that if that ever happened, that would be something that would be a blessing for me to see them active and going with the mom.
Yeah, that's cool. So that would be most of it. What with their dad? Like, is their dad kind of into that sports stuff too? Like, I feel like if you're married or a bit, married with a sporty girl, you know what I mean? Like, there
Yeah.
would have been some.
Yeah.
You'd have to be sporty too, I would think.
Yeah, so he played a lot of hockey and baseball.
Okay.
And there is some history, and for those people who are into hockey, they know the Montreal Canadiens are an awesome team. And so anyway, my father-in-law had tryouts for the Montreal Canadiens team,
Okay.
their farm
okay.
team.
Wow.
And yeah, so he was an amazing hockey player, and my husband as well. They can kind of just float on the ice, and so he doesn't play now, but
Okay.
definitely had a lot of experience in the game. And if my kids were interested, that was great. We weren't pushing it, neither my husband or myself. And they just picked up the game. And you know, it's great to have a hobby, and great to follow your passion and your dream for something you love to do. And I always teach and hope that kids give it their all. It's something that they want. So if they
Yeah.
follow that dream and can achieve, it's awesome. It's a good feeling.
Yeah. So you gave them lots of opportunity then, obviously growing up to.
We did.
They showed interest. Let's put you in camps and all
We
that
did.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
We did.
Yeah. So what else? So you got some different hobbies like that. Where do you? What are some other passions that you have?
Well, definitely with children, but and that's always there in my heart to find any volunteer work, or if someone's looking for a volunteer for within the church for children, that's my first go-to. When I was 12, I had made that decision to be a teacher, and I just knew that's what I wanted to do, was to help children.
Where do you
in
think
that way.
Where do you think that came from?
What I know the moment. One day in phys ed class, I just was looking at the teacher, and I said, I think that's what I want to be.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it doesn't define who I am, but it's what I love to do. And because it feels like it comes quite naturally to be drawn to the children, it has never felt like work.
Yeah.
It's never felt like work.
Yeah. When you have joy in what you're doing, that's true. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
like work and stuff.
Yeah, and I also am trying to play the guitar. Recently,
Okay.
I've picked up the guitar and trying to learn how to play it, and I love to sing.
Okay.
I try my best in singing, and we come from a large family of singers, and they all love to jam, and we all have gotten together many times of singing country music mostly.
Okay. There you go.
Good old-fashioned
Good
country
old-fashioned,
music,
yeah,
Charlie
yeah.
Pride, and
Okay,
a
yeah.
little bit of Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's fun. I didn't know that about you. You can sing too. Get you on stage sometimes and sing some songs.
well, we might not go that far.
We won't go that far. Well, that's cool. Like for guitar, like how far along you into learning guitar? Like learn some chords and stuff
no,
like that.
some chords.
Okay.
My mom played the guitar and the harmonica,
Okay.
and she played by ear.
Okay.
And she was very talented, and she could play the harmonica with the apparatus. I'm not sure what it's called, but
Yeah, I
it
don't know.
holds the harmonica, and she could play the guitar and played by ear.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, so she sang a lot of country music, and we just grew up around it.
What was she like growing up?
Hard worker. Both
Hardworking,
my
okay.
parents,
Yeah.
very hard workers, and come from an older generation of my dad was a woods worker.
Okay.
And worked extremely hard. So we saw that hard work ethic around us, and it was something that we were brought up doing, like working hard. We never thought it was like chores,
Okay.
where we would earn $5 to do our chores. We didn't earn $5 to do
No,
our
you just
chores.
did it.
We just did it.
You just did it. Yeah.
So like carrying wood, cleaning and cooking. My mom did most of the cooking, but we helped set the table, clean up the table, do the dishes.
Everyone did their part and stuff.
Everyone did their part. And in the olden days, we would do the cleanup, and then we went outside to play until it was dark.
Yeah. Can't do that now.
No.
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 So hard to get them outside to do anything. Can't do it. The olden days.
The
Oh my
olden
goodness,
days.
the olden
The
days.
olden days,
What
yeah.
would be like a big core memory you would have of like a family unit that you guys did something all together as a family? Would the singing be a part of that? Is that like
Singing would be
yeah.
a part of that. We did a lot of visiting with other families. You didn't have to schedule a time to go see anyone.
Okay.
So Saturday night was going to visit family,
fun.
having a meal, going to visit Grampy and Grammy and or Nanny. My pappy, we called him Pappy. He passed in the year I was born. So,
shoot. Okay.
so I didn't have that opportunity. He saw the children, but we didn't get to see him. Want to remember him. And so a lot of family time and music. My family loved to play cards. They
Okay.
loved to play cribbage.
I've always tried to figure that out. I've seen people really into that. I'm like,
Yes.
I can play Uno. I'm pretty good at Uno. That's what I can do.
I'll take you on. I'll take you on.
Yeah, that's fun. That's exciting. So yeah, it's always great. Like family, that's some of my favorite times too. Growing up, going like Christmas Eve was a big thing. Going to my
Yes.
grandparents' house for Christmas Eve. I always
Yes.
love doing that. It was always a blast.
And food was a big part of our family gatherings. And it brought us together and just enjoying a meal, talking, and just really listening to each other. And the children played, and the parents and the adults were talking too. But there were so many times that we were just all together then talking too. And we were seeing each other and connecting. And those connections were really important. Family was extremely
Really
important.
important. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, where have you seen? I'm trying to ask different people this question. Like, where have you seen God show up the most? You think, like, in your life or your family's life, where have you seen Him
Yeah.
show up the most?
So when I was really young, we lived in the country and we were considered quite far from town, but it wasn't really that far from town. And I grew up in a home where my parents didn't go to church, and I wanted to. And we had daily vacation Bible schools where I had my first
Come on.
introduction to God. My family believed in God, but hearing about the Word and hearing about Jesus Christ and what He can do in your life and that He can live in you. We had the old felt boards.
Yes, they're so good.
And
Bring them back.
I love the felt boards.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait for the next story. So you'd have like 5 days of daily vacation Bible school with the cookies that the lady made. Our neighbor, we had it at our neighbor's home.
Oh, that's cool. Like a backyard club kind of
Yes,
idea. Oh,
yeah.
that's
So
good.
we went there every day, and that's where I first really learned about what God can do and that He's there for us. And I was very, very young, probably 5 or 6, maybe 7.
Wow.
And we looked forward to that every summer of going to that.
Yeah.
And so that's where I first really
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah.
And I would say, Nate, that when I started going to church in town, so one of our cousins would come and get us and go to church, and Mom and Dad they were there. They didn't come with us, and I wanted them to, but I was a young child, and I was like, I want to go to church. So, so I did, and I accepted Christ as a very young child. 6 or 7 during those daily vacation Bible school times.
Wow.
But when I went to either a summer camp or the Bible camps at Shiktahawk,
Oh, fun. Camp Chick Dog. That's
Yes.
cool. That's cool.
and that's where I really committed to Christ as a young person and really felt that this was the path that God wanted me to be on, was to follow Him, and that I wouldn't walk alone. And even though my mom and dad didn't practice going to church, which was challenging, and I loved them dearly
Yeah, yeah.
and prayed, and I would want them to go to church. So that solidified where that beginning of the relationship with God, and loved camp, and loved the music, and loved the worship, and the time spent with youth. And so the time in spending with young people is so important. Like when we're there with our peers, and they're also trying to figure it out, but you're there, and it's just such an amazing time.
Yeah.
And that's when I really understood more about it, but still young. And then in going to school, we had a program called ISCF, and it was
ISCF, okay.
Interscholastic Christian Fellowship.
Okay. Very cool.
And we had time at lunchtime every Wednesday to meet with fellow Christians, and we studied, and we listened, and we sang. And then we had a large choir that was youth, and they encompassed from, I would say, about Perth Andover down to Nackwick, and there were about 50 to 100 kids. and we gathered and we sang in a choir, and one weekend, and then the next weekend we would go to a church and sing.
That's so cool. So like obviously it seems like every generation of your childhood growing up there, God was a part of it, right?
Part of it.
Which is so cool.
Things just kept happening, and God put them in front of me, and they were opportunities to learn more about Him, and to know that He's in my heart. And I didn't always stay on the path that He may have wanted me to stay on, but He brought me back. He brought me back, but He accepted where I was, but He did not allow me to stay there.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like there's definitely moments where He planted those seeds of remembrance of like where He met you at. So like every time He fell off that path, it's like, no, I'm gonna get back, because this is where God met me in those moments. That's so cool. And I know one of the first times I met you when I came here, they were talking about the Operation Christmas Child, the shoe boxes.
Yes.
And they're talking about this Laurie, Donovan, she looks after me, like, who's this Laurie? What's this operation? So I think it's when I met you. So how long have you been involved with the OCC there?
You're testing my memory. Well, I think it was 2016.
Okay, so you've been there for a bit then. Okay.
Yeah, and I really was anxious in the beginning because I didn't know anything about how it operated. Operation Christmas Child.
It's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
And I just prayed on it, and I met with Stephanie Essen, who was there doing that for many years, and she was so confident. She just knew everything about it, and I thought, how can I do this? But I prayed on it, and I really asked God to give me that answer to either just jump in, or do I need to know everything about it before I start? And I just jumped in with a leap of faith, knowing that God would help me with the details. He knows all the details. And Stephanie was there as a great guide as well. And so the passion for children was there in knowing that this tiny gift, this small gift, a shoebox, could mean so much to a child who may have never received a gift in their life. And then beyond that, Nate, is the children have an opportunity to receive another gift. And somebody was there for me in the country, and way back on a dirt road. And so I felt that God was calling me to help there. And I've never met these little children. But I know that God sends that box over oceans and mountains and deserts in any way that they can get there, whether it's on a mule or a canoe or maybe a kayak.
Yeah, you never know.
It gets there, and the children have an opportunity to listen to the gospel through a program called The Greatest Journey. And every child has the opportunity. And there are a lot who say yes to the program to listen. And there is so much frontline work out there. And when we do our part here in Canada, here in Miramichi, Point Church is our central drop-off spot, we don't realize how many children we are potentially we're impacting. And that.
I don't know when, if, how we'll ever see the big picture of the impact, but it's people like you, this area all across the world who are doing that. 'Cause it's amazing to hear stories and see stories, but like there'll be stories we'll never ever hear. You know what I mean? But we know God's doing some amazing things, and so like that's a big part. And I love, ever since I was a kid, the shoe boxes and stuff. And so missions is like a big part of your life too, like doing any mission work and all that stuff too. Yeah.
I think that for me, if I could be in a spot for 2 or 3 months, and I don't know if God will ever have that as part of my path, but staying in a missions spot for 2 or 3 months and seeing some things progress over that time that you're there, and just seeing children grow, that would be something that maybe is in my future. God holds it.
I always hold to the thing, where like if you've got a passion for God's work, that God will give you opportunities to meet those. Like, how great would it be for God to be like, you know what? I know Laurie's got this big passion for kids and like and reaching children for Christ, stuff like that. Like, why not give her an opportunity like that? So man, I think that something like that could happen, right? And I love seeing your passion. I know you talked about VBS too, so it's cool. Like, that's why I like this podcast, just hearing those, now knowing, oh man, that's where her story began. So that's when you have a story like that, it makes a difference on how you see life and how you see the importance of doing those things. And so that's great, Laurie. Like, one of the things I love about this podcast, just sitting down and hearing your story. It's one thing just saying, hey, how are you on Sunday morning? But to be able to sit down and go, man, you've got a great, story that behind the scenes of where your faith began and stuff is so important.
And And in terms of later on, I moved to the Miramichi, and I hadn't been attending church on a regular basis. And so when I came here, I started attending church with my husband, and then when the children were in middle school, they were invited to the youth group through their cousin.
Okay.
And I had an invitation from my sister to come, and I have to tell you, Nate, that the first time I walked into the church, and people were so welcoming, and it felt this was the place where I needed to come, wanted to come and worship.
Yeah.
And I'm still coming because I absolutely love the music, the message. It speaks to my heart. It gives me some motivation inside, like that deep down inside, that motivation and desire and that yearning to walk and walk the way God wants us to walk. And certainly it is not perfect in the way I walk. No one is. We know that. But that yearning and desire to do and to serve the way God wants us to serve and pray for others. The summer camp was just as much of a teaching for the volunteers as it was for the children.
It would have been.
I think I was a child, not a leader.
Yeah. Well, when you're surrounded by kids, you want to feel like a kid. You want to learn like a kid too. And so, yeah, that's great. And I think you portray yourself like that too. You know, you want to make this place the place that you felt when you came. You're very friendly and welcoming. Because we have a number of new people coming, and that's what we hear about how welcoming it is and friendly it is. And so, yeah, we're hearing stories of that happening and stuff. So. Yeah. And
one more thing I would like to add is that I really enjoy listening to older people. The elderly tell us such wonderful stories of the past generation and how much we should learn from them and how real and authentic life was spending time with each other and the hard times that people went through. The hard times, and that their sense of resiliency and their strength and the things that they endured should be something that we learn from, and hearing about their ability to go through it. And sometimes it may have felt like they were walking alone, but depending on their belief or where they were at in their faith or their walk, but God carried them through some really hard times. And I think that young people and myself, just listening to their stories. It really impacts me, and I love spending time with them because I feel that we can learn from them, and I also think that we can learn from children.
Yeah, I think there's from all generations.
All generations.
Yeah, it's very cool. We've had different people on the podcast and different generations, stuff like that, and hearing some amazing stories of their childhood too. It's like, man, we take some things for granted, you know what I mean, what we have now, but it's like, oh man, like they found joy in different areas of where we just can't fathom at this time. We're so distracted by everything around us, right? So no, that is good, and that's for me it's one of the reasons why I love this podcast and just sitting down talking with people like you and stuff. So Laurie, thanks for just coming on and just chatting and just reminding me that these kids that you impacted, you know what I mean, have a name, right? These VBS workers had a name, you know what I mean, and they had a story, and that story matters to God. So thank you so much for that.
You're very welcome. And I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed the time talking with you.